Now, the insurance has become such an important factor because it's been so widely recognized in all the countries and it's been accepted way. The wealth of the society is being protected. That's very important. That is, the loss of particular wealth can be protected with insurance. Now, the employment opportunities are increased by the big investments lending to the capital formation. In case something happens to you in the long run, it might be health problem, it might be financial assets problem, insurance can come as a backup and save you from that situation. Good morning and welcome to the fifth session, Unit 1, third semester BCom Insurance Management, where we're going to speak about management of risk by individuals. As we proceed further in this world, we try to understand the role of insurance in the society. Now, the insurance has become such an important factor because it's been so widely recognized in all the countries and it's been accepted way of reducing risk in our life, which includes both the individual assets as well as from the corporate side. In places where it is well established, it has got the potential to reduce risk, help and transform society by supporting economic growth and encouraging development. So what is happening is that insurance has been accepted in certain societies as a reformist, as a tool which can develop the society, which can develop the economic reforms, which can bring in a whole lot of changes to the society. In India, we still believe that insurance is only a backup plan. Insurance might not be needed because we believe that nothing is going to happen to us. But on the contrary, insurance is actually a safeguard for all of us. Now, when we move further, the wealth of the society is being protected. That's very important. That is, the loss of particular wealth can be protected with insurance. So whenever we talk about the loss of wealth, now wealth is a very, very complicated subject for all of us to understand. To gain wealth, it takes a long time, but to lose that wealth, it takes moments. So when you have to safeguard that wealth, you need a tool, you need an equipment, you need a system through which you can protect that wealth from getting lost, and that's where insurance comes into picture. Now, life insurance provides loss of human wealth, material. Now, however you are strong, you are educated, whatever might be, but then life is not guaranteed. So something happens to you, your family should not be left in lurch. Your family should not go to the street. Their life should not get affected. So that's why life insurance becomes very, very important. Similarly, loss of damage of property at fire, accident can be indemnified by the property insurance, the cattle, crop, and that of the profit machines can also be protected. So we are also talking about livestock and machinery, which can be protected with the help of insurance. With the advancement of society, wealth or property of the society attracts more hazardous and different types of risks, so insurance is needed. One side, when we are talking about economic growth of countries right from the beginning, we also need to understand that wealth in many of these countries are also attracting risk. So somewhere down the line, you need to protect those assets even more stronger than just creating them. Now, if you look into Dubai, for example, from a desert country, that country became the destination of the world with having all the titles of the fancy way, saying that the world's tallest building or the world's biggest aquarium, world's biggest mall. Everything looks so fantastic, but then the risk involved in maintaining those structures are equally important, which means to say that you need proper insurance for the survival purpose. So higher the society grows in terms of wealth and asset, you need insurance to protect it. Moving further, now each of these wealth members will have some financial security against old age, death, damage, destruction, which is very, very important. Through the prevention of economic losses, instances can be against the society for degradation. So sometimes you might see that asset that has been created might get degraded, might get just fallen down, might be just lost altogether. So you need insurance to protect it. Through stabilization and expansion of business industry, economic security is maximized. So as the business develops, employment also gets created. People also get new jobs, and people find that there is a lot of opportunity in terms of growth. The present, future, and that of the past factors, everything is getting protected because of the insurance factors. So one needs to understand insurance can help to grow things further. The happiness and prosperity are observed everywhere with the help of insurance, because insurance helps you to protect that happiness. Insurance gives you the coverage saying that you can continue to lead your life as you are. So that's why insurance becomes very, very important factor in our modern day of life. Now, the generating financial resources, insurance generates funds by collecting the premium, which is the basic way how they collect money from the insurance holders. These funds are invested in government securities and stock. One of the primary investors in the market are the insurance companies. They understand the risk factor and they carefully invest it in government securities and bonds, through which they make a lot of money. That is, their revenue starts growing up. These funds are gainfully employed in industrial development of a country for generating more funds and utilized for the economic development of the country, which is quite but natural. Now, the employment opportunities are increased by the big investments lending to the capital formation. So this is also important for all of us as we are speaking. Why? Because at the time of formation, the capital formation, one needs to understand how things are moving further. Now, with this, we also need to understand the savings part. Insurance actually just not gives you that protection, but also helps you to increase your savings. Today, if you look into the insurance factors, we have the processes, or we have systems called as ULIP, which means Unit Linked Insurance Plan, which helps people to save small amount of money, which is being looked into like mutual funds. So this also encourages savings. Life insurance enables systematic savings due to the regular premium that we are paying through it, and it's also a very, very important mode of investment. It develops a habit of saving money by the premium factors that we are talking about, and the insured will get a lump sum amount at the maturity of the contract. This is very, very important for all of us to understand. Why? Because at some period of time, let's try to understand this very, very clearly, because this insurance will give us a lot of money at some point of time. This will actually help us to understand the entire thing. And whenever you are in need of money, insurance can come back and give you that lump sum money when in case of any emergency. So paying to the insurance really matters. Now, promotes economic growth. Insurance generates significant impact on economy by mobilizing domestic savings. Yes, it helps most of the people to put their savings into an unknown bank called as the insurance. Insurance turns accumulated capital into productive investments, which is very, very important. It enables to mitigate loss, financial stability, promotes trade and commerce activity, which results into economic growth and development. That's quite interesting for all of us. And it also helps us to play a very, very sustained and crucial role altogether. So this is the factor that we are talking about. Why? Because at any given point of time, insurance is going to take you forward in terms of building a very sustainable economy. Once you have quite an amount of liquid funds in your hand and you are able to generate it on a regular basis, then automatically you will be able to claim those funds. You will be able to mobilize those funds and move further. So this becomes quite interesting for all of us to understand at this particular point of time. Similarly, when we talk about the inflation, now inflation is created by the oversupply of money or the less production of entities, which all of us know. Insurance can help to reduce inflationary in both the ways. So this becomes quite interesting for all of us to understand how the money is first of all collected, how it becomes an important factor in terms of understanding our growth perspectives. So the oversupply of money, and secondly, it also provides sufficient funds for the increase of production of the entities. So insurance somewhere promotes that economic growth altogether, because the money is being collected, it is regenerated into the market, reinvested through the mutual fund houses, through the asset management companies. We are able to generate a lot of capital in return, which gets circulated back among the people. So insurance gives an assurance to the minds of people that yes, in the long term, insurance will be able to give us that backup. Whenever you need liquidity, you can fall back on insurance. Now, insurance makes security and welfare very, very clearly. So whenever you look into it, the welfare and possibility of the people have been clearly made through this insurance. Why? Because if you look into here, at the time of old age, most of the people do not have enough savings unless and until you have been working in the government organizations. Now, if you've been in the private sector, once you retire, you do not have any kind of savings unless and until you have made a preemptive effort. So now insurance is the standby for most of the people, where they have put their lump sum money, and in case if they are hale and healthy, they don't have to worry. That lump sum money comes back at the time of maturity. This can be used for the benefit at the time of your old age. And now most of us are non-pensioners. We don't have pensions coming from the private organization. So it becomes all the more important for us to create some sort of backup which will help us to run the show. So insurance is actually the cheapest form of maintaining the responsibilities. Plus, you also feel comfortable and convenient about the factor that in case something happens to you in the long run, it might be health problem, it might be financial assets problem, insurance can come as a backup and save you from that situation. The struggle and strife between the employer and employee can be minimized. We never say that it can be made zero. Why? Because the struggle will always continue. You cannot gap that bridge overnight. You cannot say that whatever the employee wants will be given by the employer, but then the employer can use a tool like insurance to gap as far as possible, to reduce those indifferences as far as possible, so that we will be able to go further in life. Now, spreading of risk, insurance facilitates the spreading of risk from the insurer to the insured. The basic principle of insurance is to spread risk among large number of people. Now, we all know the proverb in English that please do not put all the eggs into one basket. So that's typically what insurance also tries to apply. They try to diversify the risk as far as possible by not putting all the risk into one particular sector. So that's exactly how you see that people in the insurance sector understand the risk and manage it very well, so that all the people are getting the right compensation. Now, the source of collecting funds is collected through the way of premium. It is utilized for the industrial development, and it gives a lot of employment opportunities for big investments to come through. Now, it also maintains the standard of living for many people. It actually helps to give them their livelihood. It gives them those small amounts through which they are able to live happily. So this is also helping you to maintain the standard. They are also able to go further in terms of maintaining all those high returns. They help them to give them the small factors of income. So insurance definitely plays a vital role. With this, I come to the end of the session. In the next session, we would be trying to talk about the various factors about the history of insurance, the uncertainty and the risk factors, and we would also talk about the IRDA Act. So finally, I would like to conclude by saying thank you to all of you for joining me on this wonderful session. I hope and believe that all these factors will help you both in terms of theory as well as in the practical walk of life. You have a great day ahead. Thank you.